Well, for the last few weeks, I have been thinking about the resistance that many people have to using the magic protocol. It's been a very curious exploration on my part because there is no doubt in my mind whatsoever that the magic protocol will literally prevent you from straying from the program 100% of the time. It's literally physiologically impossible to cheat if you use the process. So the question then is, why are there a meaningful number of people who don't succeed with the magic protocol? What I've discovered is that the magic protocol raises up a psychological resistance because people misunderstand. The key is first to tell the truth. You're thinking of cheating. There's nothing wrong with thinking of cheating. The pressures that you are experiencing are asking you to escape from those pressures and give them comfort. If you cheat, you give comfort. It doesn't pay off because the comfort is short lived. But regardless of that, and regardless of knowing that, the issue of admitting that you want to cheat causes ambivalence. Well, there is nothing wrong with wanting to cheat. Who are you going against? Cheating is not good or bad. Cheating simply means that I'm going to deviate from my program because I want to do that to comfort myself. Now, I'm going to address that in a bit, but keep in mind that there is nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to go off the program, to cheat, because it will comfort you and it will give you some relief. Number two, the Qigong breathing. Here again, there is an issue. First, let's understand why we put in the Qigong. When you do the Qigong, there is nothing else that you can do. It takes over everything. So it stops you, centers you, relaxes you, it makes you feel good. But then there is the overriding thing that I want you to acknowledge. Since you are the one telling yourself to do the Qigong, you're the one with the power. You're the one with control. You are number one in your own life. And it's time that you stood up and said, I am the most important person in my life, and if I lose weight, it's going to make me feel good and even better to be the number one person in my life. This leads us then to the step 3 of the magic protocol. The taking of the candy and speaking the truth. What's the truth? This candy is not nearly as good as that cheat. That's the absolute truth. The reason you're acknowledging it because you want that cheat. Well, have it. But wait a second. If I have it, I'm not going to achieve my goal. That's the point. Recognizing that you have ambivalence. Because if you have the cheat, guilt and remorse will result. Therefore, you're saying the truth. This candy is not as good as that cheat. It isn't. Nowhere near. But if you have this candy and put it in your mouth, you won't cheat. So accept the fact that it's not as good as the cheat. It doesn't taste bad, but it'll wake you up. The moment you put the candy in your mouth, you cannot cheat. The taste of the candy would override everything, and the cheat would taste terrible. So two things happen at that moment. One, you give up control by giving the candy the power. You give away your power. But what you have to recognize that immediately, at the same instant you give up your power, you get back what you wanted, which is not to cheat. You didn't want to cheat. You only wanted to feel good. And now that you didn't cheat, it feels so good. So the moment you give up power, you get your power back. Go out and buy the candies. Step 1, admit out loud that you want to cheat and recognize there's nothing wrong with saying that. Then do 3 Qigong breaths because you will recognize in the process that you've taken control of your life and acknowledged your own importance. Then the candy, admit it's not as good as the cheat, but that you're using the candy not because it's not as good as, but it's giving you something that will give you something else, the ability not to cheat. See you soon.